good off too. I think that's one of them dynasty things. And Tyler, that's really a good point to talk about. We talked about ADP kind of creeping up, right? Like you're saying, as time goes on, you know, the rookies obviously go Jeanty, Travis Hunter, McMillan, dude, they're all going to go up. They're all going to go up the draft board, right? But there's this dynasty thing going on, and I feel like more people are playing dynasty right now. In this time period right now where the draft goes on, free agency, like this is a heavy dynasty time. How are you like, because I think dynasty is affecting redraft way too much right now. And I think that I think last year was probably one of the better years for the dynasty community. Like I told you so, but everybody's a rookie scout. Everybody is an analyst. Everybody is a college film guru. And we all know how it translates to the league. I'm finding it hard right now. Actually, I'm finding it easy, I should say. I find it hard to agree with the rankings because I find it very easy for me to do my own rankings and research for redraft. And I'm like, oh, I'm scooping up all the old heads. I become this old guy savant now, but I think dynasty is really affecting redraft right now.
No, I would agree. I think this time of the year in particular, just because like rookie hype and you got people doing their rookie drafts. So a lot of people are really excited. And once training camp starts to pick up and we, because the one thing with the rookies is if we look at this year's rookie class, the running back situation or this running back class is touted to be one of the best ones we've seen maybe ever. And so, and a guy like, you know, we kind of just talked about Bashal too, and he's kind of really climbing up the draft boards, but he's also finding himself in a really particular situation where is Travis Etienne the one here? You know, he kind of lost his job and was kind of, you know, splitting stuff with Tank last year. So you have this ambiguous backfield right now with him, but yeah, like there's other guys. I mean, Kyle Williams. I mean, I do like Kyle Williams, but he's been flying up draft boards. He's going already in like the 11th round. So you're going to have some of these, but I also think that they're going to kind of fall back once like more of the casuals get in who aren't going to be as into like some of the rookies, and they'll just be taking like the guys that they know, the names that they know, and it'll kind of even itself out. But right now, like, yeah, I think there's a lot of rookies, and there's some guys that I think are definitely deserving to go very high because there's some really good players in the draft. But overall, yeah, I mean, you always get it this time of the year.
Well, it's like you do all this homework and, you know, it's easy because then we close the page on all the rookies from last year and all those guys get thrown to the trash, right? Like you talk about Kyle Williams, that was Javon Baker and Jalen Polk last year. Everybody on the Patriots, one of these guys is going to hit, you know, and I think we get this every single year where, you know, one or two rookies hit and then now it's, oh shit, I can't miss out on the next rookie because they changed the game, you know, Puka Nacua and Ladd McConkey, and you get kind of these guys that really step up their rookie years that the dynasty community loves. But then it's like now in redraft, we're seeing, you know, I'll be honest, like Omarion Hampton is a name that I think he's a beast, obviously, but he's pushed up now to like the top 25 running backs, and I could see it being like within the top 20 running backs
in
ADP.
Easy smash. What are you talking about?
This is what I'm talking about because
smash.
He's not even the guaranteed starter right now. The team signed Najee Harris to be the starter, and is Najee great? No, he's not. I wouldn't say I will be the first to admit Najee's not as great as I thought he was going to be. Right? Like he's not a player even fantasy wise that's going to be super relevant. But where's Omarion Hampton going to have his shine? Probably in the second half of the year. So you have to bake that into ADP too. And I think everybody's expecting him to come out, be the lead guy because they drafted him in the first round, take over all the carries. We've seen Greg Roman and his other Harbaugh brother do this before with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, where Gus Edwards was the lead back. J.K. Dobbins had to earn the role, and then it was a role reversal later on. So for me, I'm a little bit more like, hey, pump the brakes until we know that Hampton is a starter. Why is he going as a top 25 guy, potentially a top 20 guy on like I said, on Underdog right now? I want to say he's the RB18, which is wild.
Yeah. Oh, I'm taking him. Like I look at it this way. I mean, come on. If Najee Harris, like we talked about him all the time, like he's had ample opportunities. And I know that people will say, well, this is a different offense in Los Angeles. If he signed, I want to say it was a 1 year, $3 million deal with the Chargers. Like the Chargers then took Omarion Hampton at pick 20, I think it was
22, something like that.
Yeah. Like they're clearly invested in Omarion Hampton. And I just think he fits Harbaugh's what he wants to do so perfectly. And I do agree that early on it may be annoying, and you're gonna have people that are gonna be like, why did I draft him? But I fully expect like a second half of the season breakout where he's clearly the guy. He's overtaken Najee. Everything's there for him. So for me personally, like I'm okay with that, especially as we get like James Conner's a fine running back because he'll go, he'll go even before James Conner. It's more of like James Cook range is kind of where he's going. And I'm fine with taking that kind of risk because Amari Hampton can basically be like everything you want James Cook to be, except he's a full-time player and he's touching the ball way more than James Cook is. So he's a guy that I like. Now, also on Underdog, I'm kind of building my team a little bit differently, so I don't take him that much because it's more wide receivers. But we'll see where he ends up because he's another guy that, yeah, he could also get a lot of hype, or he could be a couple years ago, Jonathan Taylor. Like his rookie season was frustrating, but he also, like as the season progressed, started to see more and more work. And I feel like that's going to be kind of a similar situation where season progresses, more and more work from top 12 running back down the stretch who can put up some big spike weeks like we saw J.K. Dobbins have.
Yeah, it's tough because you have to kind of wait on some of those players. And I don't mind waiting on players, but then there's also the chance that they just don't emerge their rookie year. And so that's the you talk about risky players. So maybe like a Christian McCaffrey's risky this year because of his injuries, right? But sometimes rookies are a little bit more risky because you're basing it a lot off of their college production. If it doesn't pan out, now you're kind of asked out, or you're 1-3 or you're 2-5, and you're like, do I cut this guy because he's not getting the PT I expected? When we do see a lot of rookies break out late in the year, you have to hope that you're also in the playoff picture or in the championship contention for best ball. So a couple other rookies that have
one last thing I'll say. One last thing
about Hampton.
Over the past 10 years, running backs drafted in the first round, 80% hit rate of being an RB1 their first year. 80%. These guys get drafted because the capitals that they want to invest. So I'm just saying, like, it's a pretty good bet there for him to be an RB1 year one.
I'm not mad at the hit rate, but there are some other running backs too, Tyler, that have some good, opportunities. RJ Harvey is one. The team, the Broncos traded up to draft RJ Harvey, who it looked like he was going to be a little bit further down the board, but should walk into a very nice workload there. And then Caleb Johnson too, I think landed in a really good spot for your Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Obviously with Jaylen Warren there, which running back outside of the first round guys, which running back are you kind of looking at? Quishon Junkins is also there. Like, which one do you think could have that's in a really nice role to start off? Travion Henderson. Like, there's a lot of impact running backs that could be had here after the top, like probably 20, 25 go.
So it's what I'll say is dependent on ADP, because RJ Harvey's a guy I can already see, like he's been going earlier and earlier in underdog drafts, and I think he's going to get pushed up really high. And I think, rightfully so, because he walks into a situation where, you got Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime there. And, you got Sean Payton, who likes to utilize these kind of guys. So he's a guy that I do like, and I think he can have a really good season there, but he's also another guy that I just might get pushed up too far. Caleb Johnson, I obviously for my Steelers, I do like as well, but he's another guy that I think it's going to be a split kind of thing, kind of like similar to what it was last year with him, with Najee and Jaylen Warren, right? One guy I really like, and I think he'll fall, especially in redraft leagues, your more casual leagues, because he plays on a bad team and he's not as sexy as the other guys. That's Travion Henderson. The reason why I love Travion in full point PPR leagues, that's the kind of league that I would want to draft him in. He's the best pass pro running back in this draft class, the best in pass protection, a very good. He's dynamic. He has home run ability, very good after the catch, second level moves, spin moves, jukes, all of it. He's like the complete package, except he's a smaller guy. But guess what? He has Ramondre there. So he has the guy who can be the bruiser between the tackles kind of guy, and then he's able to be the change of pace, the Jahmyr Gibbs-esque type back. Obviously not going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, but he can fit that role, and he plays on the Patriots, a team that I think people are going to be like, ew, I don't really want as many guys on this team because I don't think they're going to be that good. So he might fall down compared to the other guys, but he got that second round draft capital. They're clearly invested into him. made some additions to the offensive line. So he's a guy that I really like, just depending on where he ends up going as we get closer to, August.
Yeah, dude, he has a lot of upside in that offense, and with Vrabel coming in there, we know Mike Vrabel likes to run the football. So I think this is one of those situations where one of these guys is going to pop. And we talked about first rounders that are as top 12 running backs. I think one of those guys that we just talked about is going to be like a top 12-ish type back. And I'm not sure which one it is, to be honest with you. Judkins, if it's RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson, Henderson, but one of those guys is going to get pushed up. I think Henderson in PPR league is going to be one of those safe floor kind of players, probably catches 50, 60 balls, probably going to have somewhere close to 1,200 to 1,300 total yards. Like, he's going to be a guy. I really like Judkins, though, and I think he landed in a prime spot there with the Cleveland Browns, especially with Joe Flacco starting. Like, I think that they will be able to get him the football in ample amount of times and probably run his ass into the ground. They've been looking for a back since Nick Chubb's, his injuries have kind of derailed things, and they've ran out Jerome Ford, and there's been all these different backs over the year. But to get Judkins I think they got him second round, right? Got him in the second round.
He went before Travion. I think he was the third running back off the board.
Yeah, and I mean, he had a lot of hype in college too.
Yeah.
But now he goes to a spot in Cleveland where they're going to have to run the football in a tough AFC North. I think this is the perfect. To be honest, out of those tier backs, he's like one of my favorite backs in this class. Like, as far as immediate production. Now later on down the line,
for redraft, you're saying?
For redraft, outside of Jeanty, I think he might be my second favorite running back in this class.
The only problem that I have is just the Browns offense. That's the only problem. I think. Obviously I want it to be Joe Flacco, but I also think that it just might be a revolving door where it's God, Kenny Pickett, my God, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur, but there's still rookies. The offensive line isn't great there. I do like Quinshawn a lot, like the running back Quinshawn. I like Judkins a lot. It's just the only pushback that I'll give is just I have more confidence in that Patriots offense right now going forward. I think that Patriots offense not going to be great this year, but I do think it's going to get better and better. And this is a team that could be decent this year, especially with Vrabel. I think the Browns want one more year being pretty bad. They got that extra first round pick next year. Let's just be bad one more year and then, start to build. That's the only pushback, but I do like Quinshawn, the player, for sure.
Yeah, it's weird, man, because with redraft, you got to kind of anticipate for rookies. It's weird because you have to say all right, who do I think is NFL ready? Because the NFL doesn't always draft players who are NFL ready. Sometimes they're looking 2-3 years down the line. And so it's interesting to see how everything goes, man. But